Hey everyone, you have reached the landing, OnePlanet's weekly meeting place for the entire Polygon NFT community. Every week at this time, you will learn more about the Polygon network, its native token Matic, and discuss the wonderful world of NFTs with some of the best and brightest minds from the NFT universe. And now, here's your host.
Planet's the place to be to showcase your NFTs. Best blockchain is Polygon. OnePlanet want to be on, yeah.
Let's get started, guys. The first thing that I want to do is just go around and give a quick intro about yourself, just so the listeners here can get an idea of who you are. And we are going to be having this, as the intro said, on a weekly basis at the same time. And we'll have Eric and Narb join us as regular guests. And then we'll also be having other guests like Sifer Wars just come up and share a little bit about their projects as well. But ultimately, the goal with the landing, which is what we're calling this Twitter space, is to talk a little bit more about the general news that are happening in Polygon and within OnePlanet as well. And so, as the title here states, is today some of the things that I'll be talking about are just Tower and how that is being implemented into OnePlanet. Reddit has recently come up in the news again because of the new minted digital collectibles that are happening, and that is just continuing to create more wallets and more activity in Polygon. And then Eric has something to share with us, Narb has something to share with us, and Sifer will give us an overview of their project. But with that, let's go around and just give a quick intro. My name is Edwin. I'm the community manager for OnePlanet. And then I have Matic Man, which will be the co-host for all of these Twitter spaces. Go ahead, Matic Man.
Hey, I'm Choi, better known as the Matic Man, and so glad to be in this space. I love OnePlanet, love working with Edwin and the team, and so glad to be able to rub shoulders with amazing people like Narb and bdub and Eric. And so, yeah, super excited to be here.
Awesome. Thank you. And actually, I did forget one thing that I want to try to do as well to get you guys, the listeners, included a little bit more into the Twitter space here is get you to comment. And I have a question today. My question is, what was the first NFT that you bought? If you can remember. If you can't remember which one was your first one, then maybe you can share what has been your favorite one. So just comment and even leave the picture of your NFT. And then that way we can get an idea of the community that we have here so far. And with that, Eric, go ahead, a quick intro about yourself.
Yeah, I think the first NFT I bought was something called Divine Anarchy. I was debating buying Divine Anarchy or World of Women at that time. I think Divine Anarchy is a Japanese style anime before Azuki. That was my first NFT purchase. I was looking for something under 0.5 ETH. So both of them, both Divine Anarchy and World of Women, were under 0.5 ETH. So I chose Divine Anarchy, and then the price of World of Women skyrocketed to 3-4 ETH. So that's how I remember my first purchase of NFT. And yeah, for my intro, I'm a chief strategy officer of the project called Hide Me Please. It's based in Korea right now. It's a coffee shop and a Korean style bar where you can purchase their NFT to get all sorts of discounts and perks within the offline space and then the online community. And then I actually met with Price, the founder of OnePlanet, and then visited their office. And then he was kind enough to stop by our coffee shop, Hide Me Please, last week to meet our entire founders. Three of us met with Price, had a deep discussion for 2 hours. So that's how I got introduced to OnePlanet deeper, and obviously excited to work with Narb, Matic Man, and then Edwin and other people as well.
Awesome, Eric. Thank you for that. And we'll dive a little bit deeper into your role with Hide Me Please and how you guys are integrating the NFTs into that a bit more later. Let's go with Narb. Intro, sir, and then if you want to share about your first NFT experience.
Awesome. Hey, everyone. I'm Narb. I have been in the Polygon ecosystem for a couple years now. I'm now on the community team at Polygon. And I would say my first NFT, it was either called Tiki or Tiki Bar, something along those lines. I saw it was back when NFTs were really hot and basically everything was pumping at mint. So I minted this NFT that I saw an influencer tweeting about. And nowadays that NFT, as you can imagine, as many NFTs, is worth zero now. So that was my first experience. A lot of NFTs have gone to zero, but that's the Web3 life.
Yes, definitely. I'm sure that a lot of us are holding a lot of bags full of NFTs. But hopefully, that changes, right? That
We'll be back.
projects are able to figure out some different ways to add value to their NFTs. There's still so much to experiment in the space. I'll share a little bit about Tower. And so the new feature that OnePlanet has developed is to allow different NFT projects to use their native token. So the Tower platform is building Web3 games, and they have the Tower token for that ecosystem. And so now they have two collections listed on OnePlanet, and you can use the Tower token to trade those NFTs. And actually, the only way to buy those NFTs is with the Tower token. So what that does is it adds utility for the Tower token. And so we hope that other projects that have that native token to their project can come into OnePlanet, list their collections, and also add utility to their token. So that's the main goal of that feature there. One last thing that I'll mention here with Tower is that we do have some events going on right now to incentivize trading for Tower collections. And one of those events will actually give you an opportunity to win OnePlanet SBT, right? So Soulbound token, to essentially just show that you were a part of this new feature update, new partnership with Tower. So if anybody has any questions in regard to that, definitely let us know. We're excited to get this feature out and to start onboarding more projects that have this as part of their ecosystem. I do want to go back to Sifer Wars though. bdub, how are you doing? Give us a bit of an intro to your project, maybe like a quick overview of what it is. We'll dive deeper into it later on in the show. And then also tell us, what was your first NFT that you bought or your favorite NFT?
Hey, thanks for having us today. Maybe I'll just start off by saying about the first NFT that I bought. It was actually a NFT from another OnePlanet project called Meta Collect. They're responsible for the Crunks, but this particular NFT wasn't from their Crunks collection. It was something they released about 2 years before that. And it was a trading card NFT with an image of one of their characters called Finny, who's a robot that has come to Earth from another planet to learn about the blockchain. So the image itself is really well crafted, and I saw it on Twitter, and I really had to investigate to see what the origin was. I joined some random Telegram group after, I hadn't been on Telegram until that point. And then I was just abruptly introduced to the world of NFT.
And, it was the start of a relationship to a degree that I'm still in right now with NFTs. That was my first NFT. I'll try and post a picture of it in the tweets in a little bit. But I guess that's also a good segue to talk about Sifer Wars, because just like that first NFT that I came across was a trading card NFT. Sifer Wars is a trading card collection. So the structure of Sifer Wars is that we've got 25 cards coming up in this drop that's coming up shortly, and they together constitute chapter 1 of the Sifer Wars story. There'll be 12 chapters in total, and there will be for each chapter there'll be a separate drop. But the 25 cards are kind of unique. They come in 3 varieties. You have a common card with static art, you have a rare card with dynamic, moving, animated art, and you also have a hologram, which are the kind of the very rare cards, which is a holographic rendition of that same artwork. But in addition to the artwork, you've also got 2 pieces of writing attached to each card. So they are they are the character description, a little bit of a background or a little bit of a summary of the character that you see on the card, as well as an excerpt from the Sifer Wars narrative. So that basically just means like a little section of what would be the book. And then when you put the 25 cards together and you read it all kind of sequentially, or you can actually read them out of order, to be honest, you know, you'll get a grasp of what chapter 1 is all about. So yeah, that's just a little summary of the Sifer Wars project off the back of my favorite NFT, but I'm got a feeling we'll be able to kind of give a bit more context and information in a little bit.
Yeah, thank you so much, bdub. Appreciate that. You know, your introduction to NFTs is definitely the way to do it, though, right? It's getting a bit of that dopamine effect of a community as well, right? And doing a little bit of puzzle solving and trying to solve the mystery, and then finally like hitting that buy button, right? So I like that. And yeah, I mean, one thing that I've noticed about you and your projects and the ones that you're involved with is that you're looking for that kind of story, the lore that sucks you in, and so I'm definitely keen to find out more about that aspect of your project as well. One comment that we got is from Department 77. The founder, his name is Straylight. He said his first NFT bought was Evil number 3525. That's spelled EVOL. I have never heard of that. I don't know if that's ETH or in another blockchain. But anyways, thanks for sharing that comment. I appreciate it. 77 has provided an update in the comments here. There is a picture of the bad boy from Evil number 3525. Definitely take a look at that. He looks very crazy. I have not seen a NFT like this with pixelated eyeglasses, but it's a 3D art design. There's a lot going on in Evil there. Another comment here, we have Dave, one of our ambassadors. Thank you for listening and for commenting. His first NFT was Jailbirds, and he still owns the art. So thank you, Dave, for that. Anybody else that just joined, if you can share in the comments what your first NFT was, and if you don't remember, share what your first or your favorite NFT is, and then we can give that a shout out over here. Arlene, since we have you up here, I'm curious to know, what was your first NFT that you bought, if you remember?
I do. It was round about this time of a year last year, actually. It's almost coming up to my 1-year anniversary in NFTs and Web3, which is fantastic. My first NFT was the Terrans project by a project called Narb, which, well, it didn't do too well. But my next 2, Hellcats and Disturb AI, did better, so I learned pretty quickly. The Terran's art was, it's in the name, really, the space explorers and different sects to it, so different clans to the space explorers, etc. And I used it as my PFP for a long time because she looked like a space princess.
Nice. Yeah, I love that kind of StarCraft sci-fi art as well. Yeah, I think I remember the Terrans project myself. I did not get the chance to get into it, but thanks for sharing that, Arlene. Appreciate it. I do want to move forward here as well. I want to go back to Eric, and I want to dive deeper into Hide Me Please. So the most important part for me is just the NFT integration, right? But also, you know, your role and Anything that you want to share in regard to how we can continue to support you and Hide Me Please?
Yeah. So we have the three different editions of NFTs. Each edition gives you different benefits. So for example, the first edition, it's only like 25 NFTs. You can get a free lifetime coffee free lifetime in Hide Me Please. So that's a pretty big perk. And then the second edition, you get a 1+1 for coffee and a whiskey highball in our Korean style bar. So that kind of benefits like hooks people into like bringing their friends to our coffee shop in a Korean style bar, and bringing another Web3 communities to show off their NFTs, showing that, oh, I can buy you this using my NFTs, things like that. And my role within the project is to go global, basically. So I'm actually traveling back to US this afternoon from Korea, and then I'm trying to set up something for the NFT NYC next year. I think it's in April, so that we can have at least a pop-up near the NFT NYC, so that people can enjoy some like Korean soul food within NYC, and then our dessert menu is pretty good, so that we can give out our dessert menu to the people, and then introduce our NFTs as well to the Web3 people.
That's pretty cool. So you're saying that when somebody buys one of these NFTs, there's only 25 of them, they will have lifetime supply of coffee.
Right, every day.
Wow. Once a day they can stop by for coffee.
Yeah, so
That's crazy.
they come into our coffee shop in a bar, and they show their NFTs within their MetaMask, and then the employee in our coffee shop can verify his or her ownership of the NFTs, and then the coffee is yours.
And how much did those NFTs mint for? Or how much are they worth now?
Yeah, the minting price was around 0.1 ETH, and then I think it's selling around 1 ETH in OpenSea.
Got it. Wow, that's pretty cool. I mean, it's cool to have that utility, that access to free coffee forever. Like, I wonder how the business would like, what's the ROI in the business, right? Is it more of just a connection of NFTs and getting the word out?
Yeah, so ROI actually has been great, because once you get a lifetime free coffee, you tend to bring your friends to our coffee shop, and then coffee is a kind of high margin menu from all the menus that we sell in our coffee shop, so that's fine. And then, like you said, there's a marketing effect as well. So I think a lot of the Web3 people in Korea have heard about our place. So whenever they have some group meeting or community meeting or partnership meeting with other Web3 projects, they tend to meet up in our coffee shop, ordering free coffee or dessert menus, things like that.
Nice. That's awesome, and a really, really smart way to promote the connection of the NFTs there. Matic man, go ahead.
Eric, I love this idea. Is this concept one that you're wanting to market, maybe have franchises around Korea, maybe even globally?
Yeah, globally for sure. So our idea was that we wanted to operate with or without NFTs, so that when we introduce NFTs, there should be like least volatility in our NFT price and our overall business. So that was our plan, to have like a stable business around like food and beverage, and then slowly integrating NFTs. That's why we only issued 25 NFTs for our first edition. So I think that really attracted me, because there are a lot of NFT projects without sustainable business model. I would say like 99% of them. So we wanted to operate with or without NFTs. So I thought that that's like a real business we should go forward, and then integrating NFT has been going pretty well. So I'm really happy about it. And then I think if we start going global, like NYC, LA, and other countries like Europe, Paris, things like that, I think we'll have a much more sustainable business, like the J curve the startup really look forward to. So I think that's the grand plan for our project.
So you're thinking about having Hide Me Please franchises around the globe? Or would
Yeah.
they just the concept of the NFTs and they would have their own name and brand?
So your NFT, like first edition, you can get a free coffee for any of our branches in the world. So whenever you travel anywhere in the world, hopefully you can stop by in one of our branches and enjoy your NFT benefits. And I also forgot to mention this, but we're gonna introduce our token system that within the app we're gonna launch early next year. And then of course we're gonna launch our token on Polygon. We're thinking of that too.
Nice. Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Eric. What's exciting for me is just seeing the evolution of figuring out business model as you mentioned for NFT projects, right? That way there's different sources of revenue and they're not dependent just on mint sales or transaction fees, right? That way the community can continue to feel like there's value in the collection in other ways, and even gaming, right? Just even being able to use the NFTs in a game adds a lot to the activity and the conversations that can happen organically within the project.
Yeah, exactly. And then the worst thing that can happen to us is that people just ignore NFTs. They hate NFTs, and then they can still enjoy our desserts and all the soul food that we provide in our Korean style bar. So we're gonna be still happy about it.
Yeah, completely agree. The NFTs are supporting the business model. I want to move on to some comments and then we'll get to Narb. So Sifer Wars did put a picture of their first NFT from Meta Collect, and it looks pretty cool. It does remind me of Sifer Wars actually, like a world within an image, right? There's like something in the center, and then the world just expands, and there's so much going on around that person there. So thank you for sharing that. We have another comment from Flingsy. I believe he is part of the Meta Collect fam as well. It says, "My first NFT, MLB Champions, brings back memories. Could have been much cooler than it was." And it's Jesus Aguilar from the Milwaukee Brewers. So pretty cool. I have never seen that NFT before or heard of that collection, MLB Champions. So thank you for sharing that. Again, any listener here, if you're just joining, feel free to share in the comments what your first NFT that you bought was. Let's move on to Narb here. So Narb, one of the reasons why you are in the role that you are in within Polygon is because of your quick fingers to sharing the news about Polygon and data about the chain, and you're also following the NFT statistics. So I'm curious about what you are seeing in the last few weeks within the Polygon data, and anything that you feel like will help us get a better understanding of the positioning in Polygon.
Sure. So yeah, I kind of just want to quickly go over some of the recent analytics, recent milestones, recent news. So, starting here with weekly active addresses, for example. So, over the past week, Polygon saw 1.45 million unique addresses, which is an increase of 13% from the previous week. Pretty wild. Daily transactions currently on Polygon are averaging right around 3 million. And the cost per transaction averaging around 1 penny, which is 12% cheaper than the week before. And then kind of moving on to more NFT related things. Weekly NFTs were increased 2% this week, reaching 26.8 million. And NFT active wallets climbed up to 2.5 million, up 13% from the previous week. And then I'm sure you guys saw, everyone here knows about, the hype around the Reddit NFTs. There was some more. Another collection was minted over the weekend on Polygon, and over 255,000 avatars were minted in a single day. In total, there has been 94,000 sales of Reddit NFTs. Total sales volume is about to reach 12 million. and nearly 4 million Reddit NFT holders on Polygon. So 4 million Reddit NFT holders. That is pretty crazy. So I just wanted to highlight that as well. Moving on to some of the milestones within Polygon, or at least milestones that we're about to reach. The total Polygon POS transactions. So all the transactions that the Polygon POS chain has ever executed has just passed 2.25 billion. And to give perspective on that, this number was 100 million in May of 2021. So about a year and a half went from 100 million total transactions to 2.25 billion. Obviously, if you've been in this space, you've seen all the growth that Polygon has had. That's just one part of it. And then total unique addresses recently reached 198 million. So we're really close to 200 million total unique addresses on Polygon since launch. So pretty big milestone coming up there as well. And then sort of the last part here, moving on to some news and some things to look forward to. The Starbucks Odyssey, that I'm sure you guys are aware of, that Starbucks Polygon partnership that was announced, I don't know, maybe a month or two ago. The Starbucks Odyssey is launching to customers tomorrow. So as of tomorrow, customers will be able to earn loyalty points powered by Polygon on the blockchain. So that's another really cool partnership that Polygon is involved with. Another one here, Phantom. I'm sure some of you saw this. Phantom is sort of the famous native Solana native wallet that will soon be available now on Polygon and Ethereum in the coming weeks. Phantom has a really good UI UX, so pretty excited about that. And then I just kind of want to give a shout out to, I don't know if you guys saw this, but CoinDesk does an annual most influential person in crypto list. And Ryan Wyatt, the CEO of Polygon Studios, was listed as the number 3 most influential person in crypto for 2022. And that was only behind, number 1 was CZ from Binance, and number 2 was Zach XBT. You guys may know him. He's sort of the famous rug pulling researcher on Twitter. So pretty cool shout out. Pretty cool to see the recognition for Polygon from CoinDesk there. And then I just kind of want to leave it with one more thing to look forward to. Something that I'm super, super excited about on the technical side of things is we're seeing really, really great progress on Polygon ZK EVM. I know a lot of the stats that I just talked about were all about the current Polygon POS chain scaling solution. But Polygon is working really hard with a lot of ZK-based products as well. And the Polygon ZK EVM is currently on testnet and expected to go live on mainnet in Q1 of 2023. So super, super excited to see that on the technical side of things. And that will sort of, I know, I don't want to get too far into it, but I'm sure you guys have seen FUD around the Polygon POS chain before. And that will sort of kill some of that criticism. So yeah, that's basically all the things that I want to talk about. Some analytics there, a lot of exciting things happening in the Polygon ecosystem.
Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a great summary, Narb, and then the astounding numbers. And then speaking of Starbucks, heading back to the US today, I actually signed up for the wait list. And then I know the guy who's working on that particular project, Web3 integration of Starbucks, his Twitter handle is bunchu.eth, bunchu.eth. So I'm gonna DM him. Hopefully he'd let me in for the waitlist so that I can start using the Starbucks Odyssey pretty soon.
And what's cool about that is that as a general user of or a consumer of Starbucks, but also user of their loyalty rewards program, a lot of them will not know that this is being powered by Polygon, right? This is going to be interesting to see how they react if they ever do find out. But I'm sure that some people will be curious about how things work in the back end, and this could be a way to onboard people as well into Web3 in general. But if they find out that it is powered by Polygon, hopefully that brings them into trying to learn more about the NFTs that exist within Polygon, right? And just to see if they are interested in bringing some liquidity into the system and trying the different dApps that exist and checking out different projects as well. Just want to check and see if any of the other speakers have any questions for Narb or any comments about any of the stats that he made.
I'm just going to say I concur with Eric. Great summary. Always appreciate you bringing the alpha and the heat, man. Appreciate you so much, the research you do.
All right, cool. So with that, yeah, Narb, thank you. Appreciate that. I think for me, that is one of the things that I enjoy about Web3 in general, just paying attention to the statistics, right, and the trends and where things are flowing. Reddit continues to be a topic of discussion because of the inclusion in the back end of the wallets, right, and the digital collectibles, as they call it, that are being added into the blockchain. And of course, we hope that that flows into the self-custodial platform, and then exploring the other NFT projects as well. And then Phantom, you mentioned that. Yeah, we're excited to see that happen as well, because yeah, and with the other builders, we had a similar kind of chat where the user experience is much better than what we're used to with MetaMask. So I think it would be nice to have them also support EVM and Polygon.
Yeah, just sort of add on what you guys are saying. I think that's sort of the main focus with a lot of these big Web2 partnerships is, how do we onboard the normies in a way where they're not so, afraid of crypto, I guess, or, there's a stigma around NFTs, I think, that we all know about. And, with the Starbucks thing, it's happening so much on the back end that a lot of these customers won't even know that they're using the blockchain, which is great. I even know that even with the Reddit NFTs, a lot of people that minted those Reddit NFTs don't actually quite understand that they are NFTs, or they called them digital collectibles, right? And I think that's another big thing that we can maybe rebrand NFTs to make it more friendly. But I saw a post on Reddit like a month or two ago when this whole Reddit thing got really hot about somebody that had minted this NFT for $10, and he was writing on one of these Reddit forums, and somebody had commented about his profile picture, which was now worth $2,500, and he had no idea. He was confused. He didn't understand how his profile picture was profitable. And I just think that's a really cool entry for like I said, normies getting into this space and seeing that you can make money, but it's also more of a community thing as well. I think there just happened to, when NFTs first started, there was just a stigma was created around them being, scammy, or they just didn't make sense to people. Pyramid scheme, we've all heard all of it now. But I think these types of things that make it easier for them to onboard and see what this is all really about, I think that's the goal with a lot of these Web2 partnerships that Polygon's getting involved with.
Yeah. Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, I think that's the strategy we should benchmark in our Hide Me Please team, where we abstract some of the blockchain part out and using our own wallet to give more smooth UI UX for the users, where they set up their wallet with the password, and then they can buy our membership instead of saying NFTs. So like Narb said, we're slowly trying to incorporate like normies into our ecosystem, and then the using more familiar terms is definitely an option that we should choose.
And I think what I'm seeing is just the more creativeness that's going on, right? I feel like I've been seeing more people talk about POAPs and SBTs, and then I think that just goes to show that there is a little bit of that we're trying to go away from just focusing on the financial aspects of NFTs, right? And trying to think about other ways to be creative with the technology. We have B as a speaker. When he comes on, we have to implement raising your hand, because otherwise he is going to go off the rails. So V, I'm going to let you comment or do your question, but then I do want to get to Sifer Wars and continue hearing more about their project. So go ahead.
Hey guys, hey Edwin. I didn't know that Arlene hasn't spoken yet. I thought I joined quite late. But I just wanted to make a comment that why should normies be onboarded when the sole reason why we want to onboard them is to make them our exit liquidity and to keep the Ponzi going and the pyramid scheme going. As much as we hate to say it, most of the projects are pyramid schemes and Ponzi schemes where everyone's just shilling their Ponzi, trying to find exit liquidity and pump their bags. And your best NFT, PFP NFT project, the best utility it has is its community that it really doesn't care about, and it just wants the trading to continue so that it continues to get its royalties. So if I was not with all the information that I have now, if I was a normie, I probably wouldn't want to join this space. If I'm being fairly honest, just a bit of a comment there.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's a great point, V. And I think that was the kind of goal here, that we are trying to think about different ways to be creative about NFT technology, right? So we're not just focusing on the financial Ponzinomics aspects of NFTs. Arlene, do you have a comment there?
I was just going to say, gentlemen, that you have been thudded by VTM.
Yes, I love it. We do have Dave coming up here. He might have a comment for this topic here. Just want to give him a chance. Hey, Dave.
Oh, evening, guys. I couldn't let that go through without jumping up and chiming in a little bit. But how before I do that, how is everyone? And it's been really nice listening to you all and not talking. But I couldn't help myself. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah, go ahead if you want to share something for V. Go ahead, and then after that, we want to go to Sifer Wars.
I mean, I primarily agree with you, V, if you're talking about a lot of PFP projects, but that's not everyone creating in NFTs at all by any stretch whatsoever. And there's a lot of artists out there that are, making art that would be vehemently against your Ponzi comments, and rightfully so. I do think that we need to change the language a lot, and I think we've created. We've gate-kept ourselves. We've created barriers by creating complex language that is not understandable, and that stops your average everyday person wanting to get involved. And then off the back of that, when you start throwing some of the other stuff that we've seen with FTX, SBF, Celsius, Luna, like lots of stuff throughout the year that's been unsavory, and then all of the influencers and the platforms that are given to people that are pushing those unsavory acts, by wrapping us all under these words that are so unique to our industry, we really are hampering ourselves. So I think digital collectibles and other words that make us much more acceptable to traditional businesses, to traditional tech businesses, which are really excited about Polygon, is the way forward through 2023. But really, really good points, and I just felt the urge to come and say that, guys. Thank you.
So I actually did have some deeper comments there. My opinion on where NFTs will become, I echo everyone's point about solid utility, concrete utility, just like Sifer Wars has. We have a very concrete mechanic there, and it's unique, and it's dynamic, and it's lots of fun as well. I think the space will surprise us in the coming years, because humans are collectors at heart. It is one of our driving impulses. And we're also really cliquey at heart as well. We want to form tribes and unite behind identities. And those are both very powerful, human instincts that drive this space. So I think NFTs will become, and I've said this in previous spaces, and Vig knows this view, will become like the next, the ye old timey golf club, country club vibe for like the old people go to. I think NFTs is going to become like the next country club type vibe, if you get my drift. And I think it's going to be extremely colorful, and it's going to be extremely diverse. And all sorts of silly shenanigans like the Joes and all of that are just going to keep on inventing themselves, because humans are also very silly and irrational and funny at heart as well.
Yeah, thank you, Arlene. I completely agree with you. I think that there's still so many people that don't know about NFT technology, but once they do, the creativity is just going to start flowing in, right? And trying to push the technology forward. So I like that. Let's go back to Sifer Wars. You mentioned Sifer Wars and the utility, and bdub, you shared a little bit about your kind of project description. You share a little bit about, you know, having them be collectibles, cards, and there's different series that you're gonna have 12 of them, right? Right now, the first one has 25 different arts or designs there. So let's dive a little bit deeper. What in specific is the utility, since Arlene mentioned that?
Cheers. All right. So in terms of the utility of Sifer Wars cards, there's probably a few different pillars. So I guess the first one and the most obvious
I can't
one.
hear bdub, so if no one else can, I can answer that question.
Can you hear me?
I can hear him.
Yes, we can, Arlene.
All right,
Okay,
I'll
good.
leave and rejoin because clearly I'm getting rugged.
All good. All right. So I was going to say the clearest utility for the Sifer Wars cards is just being able to read the like the book, if you will, or the narrative, and enjoy the artwork. So that's, I guess, the most basic form of utility. We really do believe that the story is kind of world class, and it's co-written by a published author called Mark Bailey. It's really of a high quality. But aside from the obvious, we've got the gaming component, which I alluded to before. So on the back of each Sifer Wars card, on one of the backs, you'll be presented with a rank. So we, as I mentioned earlier as well, we do have 3 tiers of cards. So the common, the rare, and the mythic. But then each card will also have a rank. So let's say, the ranks are going to be between 1 and 9. So you can have, for instance, a common rank 5, or a rare ranked 3, or a mythic rank 9. So anywhere between 1 and 9. And what you'll be able to do at first in our Discord, facilitated through team members and potentially on things like live streams and so on, what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to enter into games against other collectors that are holding Sifer Wars cards, and you'll be able to make wagers with these ranks. So, for example, let's say that Arlene has a Alvord Constant. He's one of the Sifer Wars characters, an Alvord Constant rank 5 common, and I have a Sifer City rank 3 common. Could be any tier of card, doesn't have to be a common or otherwise. And then we could, for example, decide to play a game of Connect 4. We set the parameters of the contest before we start, so we might say it's best out of 3. And then we send our Sifer Wars NFTs to a project wallet. It's kind of like an escrow account. And from there, you'll play the game, and let's say that Arlene wins and we've bet 2 ranks. Her rank 5 will be upgraded to a rank 7, whereas my rank 4 would be downgraded to a rank 2. So that's it in its simplest form. But if you were to exceed 9 ranks on your common card, that card would actually be upgraded to a rare card. And similarly, if you were to level up the ranks on your rare card to above 9, it would be upgraded to a mythic card. And when we say upgraded, what that means is actually the artwork on the card changes, the rank that's displayed on the card changes, the actual NFT itself transforms according to what your rank is and what the tier is on the card. And another kind of little quirk there is that if you had a mythic card and it was downgraded enough to 1 or less ranks, then it would actually transform into a rare card. And similarly, the rare card, if it were downgraded enough, it would transfer into a common. But when you get to the commons, if that is downgraded all the way to 0 ranks, the card is burnt and it's gone forever. and it leaves your wallet, never comes back, and nobody else can ever grab that card either. So what that actually does is something quite interesting. It creates a deflationary supply. So for chapter 1 of Sifer Wars, I don't think we've publicly mentioned this yet, but there'll be 444 complete sets available in the packs of Sifer Wars cards, 400 sets of commons, 40 sets of rares, and 4 sets of the mythic hollows. But if you kind of follow the logic of the kind of the gaming component of it, you'll have the vast majority of cards being commons. And as people play against each other in an effort to upgrade those cards to rare cards or into mythic cards, it kind of you can see that for every time a rank is gained by somebody, it has to be taken away somewhere else. So the bulk of the competitions will be between common cards, and as people upgrade their commons up to the rare tier, there's going to be an awful lot of commons that get burnt and they're gone forever. So your 444 complete sets is going to very quickly dwindle down. At first, it'd be perhaps like 400 sets and then only 350. So that definitely introduces an interesting gamification at the meta level. And then you can go even deeper into that and you can think to yourself, well, if all these commons are getting upgraded to rares, eventually the commons might become the most scarcest cards, the original commons. So maybe do I collect a set of those and keep those untouched? So yeah, that's kind of the crux of the utility of the Sifer Wars cards. Although now that I say that, I can think of one more that I'll quickly mention, and that is the concept of set rewards and collectors challenges. So, for instance, with the Sifer Wars cards, only 24 of the 25 cards in Chapter 1 will be available in the packs. There'll be a 25th card that doesn't come in the packs, but rather it will be airdropped to any collector that is able to collect the first 24 cards that are available by a set deadline. So, for instance, we could say that by February 15th, 2023, any wallet that is holding a complete set of 1 to 24 Sifer Wars cards will get airdropped the 25th card. So that's another piece of utility for the cards themselves. And similar to that, we can also introduce other collectors' challenges. For instance, we could say anyone that has a common, a rare, and a mythic Alvord Constant card is going to get airdropped another kind of a special NFT reward. Or it could even be a physical reward, like a physical pack of Sifer Wars cards, something else that we'll be making available to collectors in due course.
All right, thank you, bdub. As we can see, one 5-minute segment is not enough to get to know what Sifer Wars is about. That was just the utility. We haven't even really discussed the lore, right, and the story and the writing that you mentioned. So what's going to happen is Dave here, who is also going to be helping us with Twitter Spaces. He is going to help us host on the weekends some AMAs that are going to be specific for the projects that are going to be using the OnePlanet Launchpad. So we'll have one with just Sifer Wars, Matic Man, and myself and Dave, and we'll be there to just learn more about your project and dive deeper into all of his different aspects. So thank you, bdub, for giving us that introduction. We have 4 minutes here for us to hit the hour. I just wanted to go around and just get some last thoughts, final thoughts from the people up here, and then we'll close it down. But I think we've had a pretty successful show. I really enjoyed talking to all of you guys and learning about what's going on with Polygon and Sifer Wars. So thank you. Matic Man, any last thoughts from you?
No, just as always, just so excited to be part of the Polygon ecosystem, and especially with OnePlanet, and just see what's going on in the space. The future is so bright. Let's not get discouraged by the market right now. Future is bright in Polygon, and great people like in this space today. We have a very bright future.
Thank you. Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, I just want to give a quick shout out to Price and then the entire OnePlanet team. They're working like hell. I think they're working like Elon Musk back in the day. So I can't wait to see what you guys are building out in your ecosystem and in your product as well.
Thank you, Eric. Appreciate that. Narb, any last thoughts from you?
Yeah, just double on to what they're saying. Really appreciate everything that you guys are doing at OnePlanet. I think that this is what, I know I've said this a million times before, but I think this is what something that Polygon has needed, was a native Polygon NFT marketplace. You don't see any of those anywhere else. And yeah, you guys are working really hard, like Eric said, like Elon Musk out here. And yeah, just grateful to be a part of this.
Thank you, Narb. Dave, any last thoughts from you?
All of the updates from Narb were awesome, and I don't even think you touched what they're doing on the actual the normal chain, and how they're trying to push speed on that with the new protocol that was dropped, massive blog article, which is super interesting, and everything else in here. Thank you for having me, guys. Always like listening to you, and it's been a pleasure to work with you as well.
Thank you, Dave. bdub, Sifer Wars.
Yeah, just a quick shout out to you guys, like everyone else, and just a reminder to all the listeners, like, to come along and join the Sifer Wars Discord. There's a link in our Twitter bio. We're already running games, and we're actually giving away a bunch of cards from the Chapter 1 set as we speak. So yeah, just come and jump in the server, and there'll be plenty of chances to get a couple of free cards before we mint.
Awesome. Thank you, bdub. And shout out to the speakers that came up here, Arlene and V. Appreciate your time as well. And everybody that left comments, all the listeners, thank you for your time. We will be back next week with the same structure to the show. And that way we can continue to build a community here with OnePlanet and with our builders, our ambassadors, and just everybody that's still in the space right now, during this time that many people are going away because their bags are getting heavy or light, whichever route you want to take that. So anyways, everybody enjoy the rest of your day or night. And if you have any questions about anything that OnePlanet is doing, feel free to DM us, join our Discord, and please make sure you're following any of the speakers here and continue to learn about their own content and their own projects. But with that, take care, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks for joining us for The Landing, OnePlanet's weekly meeting space. Please join us again next week at the same time.